Hi, welcome to my Flosstube channel, Cat V Stitches. This is about my third or fourth attempt at videoing this because every single time I started something has gone wrong. And on my last one, my last attempt I was about 10 minutes in, I'd say, when I realised that half the camera was covered up, half the camera lens was covered up, and there was a black line running down the screen. So I'm calming down, I'm restarting, I'm going to pretend it's not bothered me in any way, shape or form, and come rain or shine, or asteroid hit, or car crashing into my house, or any other disaster that could happen, this is going to be the take that goes up on YouTube. I can't cope with anything else. Anywho, again, sorry, let's start this from the beginning. My name is Catherine. As I said, this is my channel, Cat V Stitches. This is Flosstube, basically cross stitch and some knitting thrown in as well. I'm also on Instagram as Cat V Stitches, so please feel free to follow me on there, comment on the many cat pictures that I post. You'll figure out I am a little bit cat obsessed. And yeah, welcome. So for any new viewers, thank you for choosing to watch. I'm sorry that this is going to be such a train wreck, and for anyone returning, you're probably used to it by now. One thing I will quickly say though before I get into stuff is this is not how I normally sound. I have had a throat infection for the past week and a bit, thankfully non-COVID related, but I'm prone to throat infections. As a kid I would have tonsillitis at the drop of a hat, and although I've had my tonsils removed, I do still every now and then get an absolute whopper of a throat infection. So that's been me for the past week and a half, and although I'm feeling tons better, I don't have a temperature anymore, I don't have any lesions in my throat or anything, I have this glorious laryngitis type thing that's basically left me sounding like a pubescent boy whose voice is in the process of changing, which sounds absolutely amazing when you're trying to hold a serious phone conversation with someone. So anywho, I'm going to try and get through this as best as I can, because I know it's been 3 weeks since my last confession, and I think it's going to be about the same distance between now and when I'm next going to have time to do one of these. So I thought, you know what, I'm feeling better. Yes, this isn't brilliant, but I'll just jump on and get this done for you, because I do have 2 finishes I want to show, and I have worked on quite a few whips over the last couple of weeks. Sorry, I just caught my chin with my nail there. Brilliant. Sorry, and I do have quite a few whips that I've worked on over the past few weeks that I'd like to, share with you. People on Instagram may have seen 1 or 2 of them, but I thought I'd, for those people who are interested and for the few who are watching, I thought I'd share with you. So, without any further ado, let me just take a quick drink. Oh, and that's the other thing, that's when you can tell that I'm feeling unwell. I went almost a week without having any Diet Coke, so yeah, things were that desperate. And I'm down to just maybe 1 a day at the moment as a kind of treat. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to actually start with my knitting whip. This is my Land of Sweets cowl, and I am almost finished now. I'm at 90% done. For this I am using Fyberspate yarns. It's the Vivacious 4-ply range, and what I will do is I will list in the description all the colours that I'm using in this cowl. But there we go, almost done.
This is lovely variegated yarn, and it's incredibly soft and very easy to work with. Thankfully I've finished all of these lacy sections now, and we're just on to good old knit and purl combos. I think I am glad I've finished these lace ones now, because it's all just constant counting and wondering whether or not I should frog back when I realise that I've missed a stitch somewhere and need to create a stitch somewhere else. But I just about managed to get through this without chucking it out of the window, and I am so happy with the result. So I'm going to be knitting one of these for my friend. She's just got to come back and let me know what colours she wants. But yeah, absolutely love it. So when this is finished, I'll block it out, and hopefully next time we talk, this will be another fully finished one. I mean, talking about that, I love that wool so much that I actually bought 2 other colours, and I'll show you that when I come to my small haul I have, and also a bit more when I come to discussing what I'm planning on doing over the next couple of weeks. But anyway, that's my Land of Sweets cowl, 90% finished, so yay. Okay, so next whip is a Lindy Stitches one. It's Mary Needleworker. There you go. So for this one I am using a combination of DMC and the Call for Weeks. So for example, her dress, the scissors and the spools, there you go. They are all using the weeks dye work suggested, and everything else is just DMC. Because so for example, the dress is this sea foam, and I have to do, oh god, that's getting washed out. Let's see, put it this way. I absolutely love that colour, so I decided to go with the weeks on that. And I primarily worked on the wording on the skirt, sorry, not the dress, and filling it in. So there you go. Let's get this right. So what I'm going to do is insert in a picture here of what it was like last time I showed it, which I think was basically in my first one when I did a whip parade, and you can see what I've done on there. But it is primarily just adding some more wording on there and filling in some more of that colour, because that is a beast of a job, filling in all of that. And I get the feeling I may have to buy some more of this sea foam, and I just have to hope that the dye lot is similar. But I am actually really enjoying that. I've finished all of this border now, so you know, I like to get the border and things like that done as much as possible, especially if it's a repetitive one like that. So you know, there's nothing worse, I think, when you get to almost the end of something and it's like, oh, I've got all that border to do now. So I just figured I'd get that done at the beginning. But no, I love this one. I think it's a really pretty one. So that came out for some love this time. Oops. Keep all this together or I'll lose it. Okay, the next one I've worked on is Amethyst by Carolyn Manning. So I'll insert a picture in here of what it should look like. Oh no, actually, in fact, save me having to do that about a million times. Let me just bring up a picture of it now for you. It won't be 1 second. Oh, I'm strangling myself here. Come on, there we go. So there it is. Amethyst by Carolyn Manning. This I am doing, my Mary Mary needlework is on a straightforward pink Zweigart 28 count. It's nothing fancy, it's just one of the basic Zweigart ones, and this is on a 14 count Ada, again Zweigart. It's lavender. And make sure I've got this the right way. There we go. There we go. So I will insert in a picture of what it was like last time, so you can have a comparison of what I've done, but primarily I worked on filling in this and around here. Now this is good stitching to do when you're not feeling brilliant, because it's just mindless stitching, good old colour blocking basically. So I really enjoy that, and this one will be out again soon. Again, this is all just, it's all DMC, this one, and I just love the colour range. Yeah, this is one of my favourite for all the colours to be used in there, because they are basically all my favourite colours. So that's Amethyst. My next one is my tiny Modernist Halloween Ouija. There we go. So this is again done on 14 count Ada. This is 14 counts Rustico or Rushico, something along that. Is Zweigart, as I said, 14 counts. And still got that on my lap, get rid of that. This is another of these easy stitches. This would make a very good travelling piece. I have horrendous eyes, so I need amazing lights, and a lot of the time I need magnification. But this is one that I could see, just so long as I had good light on, that I could probably do in hand while travelling or at my parents' house. But there is obviously all that border, but I've not touched that yet. What I worked on this time was the wording on here. There you go. So what I'll do, oh god, the hair's sticking up everywhere here. What I'll do is just pop in a picture of what this looked like last time I showed it. There you go. And what I've also done is the DMC glow in the dark thread. I've kind of like intermingled it down here, and it does work. I have tried it, so yeah, I've used some DMC étoile in the skull and on the cat, but the rest are just the cut, and I put a little bit of orange in that window there, but the rest is just the DMC. It's just straightforward 535, which is grey, 310 black, and then just white. So yep, that's Halloween Ouija. Okay, so I also brought out my Heaven and Earth design piece. This is one of my two big full coverage ones. I've decided to put them both in my Vonna envelope bags that I made myself. I've got all my, they've got their own DMC things for both of them, which are on this. My god, that took a long time to kit up. But once it's done, isn't it? And then you don't have to worry about it. But this one is
Heaven and Earth design Flutter by Marjorie Sarnett. There you go. Now, in retrospect, I would have picked one of the ones that didn't have quite so much black going all around it, because that's a bugger. And as I think most people will know, black DMC is not as fluffy as the coloured ones, so the coverage isn't as brilliant. I chose to do this on a 25 easy grid as Vigart one. I'm doing one thread, so 1/1 and a full cross. Sorry, hair on my lip there. If I had to choose it again, I'd probably go for 28 count, either 1/1 full cross or 2/1 half stitch or 10th stitch. But for this one, I chose to do it on the 25, 1/1 full stitch. And for the coloured areas, absolutely no problem with the coverage. It's just the black areas. But I'm still very happy with the result. It's only a small niggle I've got on it, but you live and learn with these things, don't you? This is my first Haid and my first full coverage one I did, but there we go. So what I've worked on doing is filling in here, and I think, yeah, because the eye and everything was already there. Oh no, sorry, and I've done all of this black. So I did about 2,000 stitches in all over 2 days. Yeah, so again, really enjoy doing this. I'm working, not really parking and not really doing extreme cross country. What I'll do is I put this in the Q-snap, and I basically do cross country within the Q-snap. So I know there are some people who are picking one colour and just doing everything in that colour. I thought of doing that, but then I'm not really, I like to just put it in the Q-snap and just work in that area. I'm not very good at stitching in hand, and if I were to do the extreme cross country, I'd constantly be having to move the Q-snap. So at the moment I'm just putting it in a 11 by 11 Q-snap and just working within that area with the colour. I know I have mentioned Hannah Dowling before, but I'm in awe of her style of doing these. And that reminds me, I want to thank Hannah if she does watch this. She mentioned me in her last Flosstube and said some lovely things, so thank you so much, Hannah. Vice versa, I absolutely love all of the stuff you're doing, all of your full coverage ones. The progress you make on them is amazing. I know I've watched some of the Stitch With Me's you've done, and I'm in awe of your technique. But thank you very much for the kind words. Anyway, sorry, moving on. So yeah, so this is Flutter. So I'll, if I've not already done some, I'll stick up the picture of what it looked like last time you saw it. But as I said, it's primarily just working here and on this black up here. So when I have finished my Pilgrim, my Longdog Pilgrim, which will be up in a minute, this will be my next focus one to try and get, you know, well, at least this part of the face completed and work on more of that black. Okay. Oh, and I'm just, sorry, I know this has been up for a while now, but I'm just obsessed about that eye. I think it looks amazing. We just put these away. Just tons of threads. Okay, so the next one is, before I move on to it, I just want to show this. How amazing is that fabric? So this is this is another bag I made. It's what's she called? Sorry, I've got it here. Laurel Birch is the artist
that does this. If I can remember, what I'll do is in the description I'll put where I actually bought the fabric from. So there's actually two different varieties you can get, this metallic red and the metallic blue. So I've got that as my lining. I've got a little pin, I don't know if you can see that there, if I bring that closer, a little pin on it there that I bought from Etsy. I think it was EmmaCarpenterStudio is the artist on that. I've got a few more for things that I bought. So I had fun making that, the Vonna envelope sleeves. And I just love that fabric. I bought enough to make 2 of these bags, and the other bag is going to be that on the outside and the red as the lining. But it was so much of a stress making this one that I'm going to wait for another week or so before I do that. But in this is my All Souls Vierlanden by Quiltify. Now, what I've decided to do is make this my next 25/7 piece. So for anybody watching who's watched me before, you'll know that I was doing Halloween Quaker as my 25/7. And what that basically means is that you stitch on something for me, I'm interpreting it as Michelle Bendy does, which is to stitch on something every day for 25 minutes, and then just to keep going until either it finishes or you decide you want to switch on to another project. So I have finished my Halloween Quaker, which I will show you shortly, and from Monday I'm basically going to switch to this one as my 25/7. So it's still on the Q-snap. I'll put up, and it's got cat hairs everywhere, I'll put up what it did look like previously, and it was basically one I'd done this motif here previously, and I've now moved on to this one. So the comparison picture should be of that first motif, and this is what I am doing now. So this is on fabric by Chromatic Alchemical Sea Witch, and I'm using my Mrs. Sadas silk Peacock on it, and I think that just shows up brilliantly on there. So there you go. So this, as I said, is going to be my new 25/7. So hopefully I can start working through, because there's loads of motifs on here, so I just thought this would be a good one to do it on. And I'm just so happy with that choice of fabric. So there you go. That's All Souls Vierlanden in the bag that I am equally happy with. Just as with everything that I've made, like all my cushions and things like that, just don't look at the seams too closely. They're a little bit wonky. Okay, so what's this one? Oh yes, this is the whip I'm currently working on, and actually it's a new start. Sorry, just bear with me. Bear with me 1 second. I know. Oh God, it's a bit deep there. I know this is not necessarily the best thing to have when you've got a bad throat, but I've not had any kind of caffeine for so long. I was just literally ready to kill somebody to get some caffeine in, and I'm not joking there. Literally, I was ready to kill people to get caffeine. So yeah, for the sake of humanity, I decided to have a little bit every day. But I am having lots of honey and lemon and things like that as well. So, and this is actually a lot better than what it was from yesterday when I sounded. Oh, I was trying to have a very serious conversation with my boss, and you just can't. Because sound absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, sorry, moving on. Now, this next one that I'm going to show you is a cricket collection. And for those of you who have watched any of mine before, you'll know that I absolutely love cricket collection pieces. So this one behind me is a cricket collection piece. And I know it says October. Excuse me, God. I know it says October and we're not actually in October, but I just love it so much that it's up there for the time being until I replace it with something else. But my next cricket collection one is, just take this off there, is Sleepy Hollow. There you go. Now this one was actually one of the first cricket collection, well, no, actually I think this was the first cricket collection pattern I bought. I think I was watching a Michelle Bendy. I love Michelle Bendy, by the way, absolutely love her, but I was watching her Flosstube and she was doing Master and the Macabre, which is a cricket collection one. And I thought, oh, that's a nice one. I think I'll have a look at cricket collection and see if they've got any other patterns I like. And as I was looking for that, I saw this Sleepy Hollow one and actually went ahead and bought this first. But then I got a little bit scared because of the fabric. Now, as you can see, this is a nice dark, I suppose, bluey grey motley one, and I couldn't, it's I think it's R&R. Let me just have a look. No, sorry, this is oh my word, where is it that it says the, it says it here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Overdyed linen, R&R reproductions, Blue Moon Java, 30 count. I couldn't find it anywhere, and I couldn't find anything that was similar, and I knew that if I was going to do it, it was probably, I might have to dye something myself, and because there's so much fabric there as well, it uses quite a bit. I knew it was going to be quite expensive, and I wanted to splash out on some of the overdyed threads that it used, you know, especially for the houses, well, the buildings and the bushes here. So I kind of got not so much scared of it, but I kind of put it at the back of the pile. And then the other week I thought, you know what, sod it. I'm going to attempt to dye some fabric myself. So I got some 32 count fabric and had a couple of attempts to dye. And my first attempt was this here, using Rit dye. I follow the Priscilla and Chelsea tutorial that they did a while ago, but that was just too blue. Then I tried this, which I actually really liked. So this is a teal and then a blue Rit dye. I actually really liked that, but then I found that a bit too dark, and one of the two of the colours just really didn't show up on it. So then using the same colours as this, but just not as strong, I tried it one more time and got this colour. Now I know it's not spot on match with it, but I really liked it. And then when I did the old floss toss on it, they all looked really, really good with it. So there's 3 panels. I'm going to basically do it like this. Again, I'll be looking at Vonna's tutorial of doing flat folds to finish it. But I thought, I dyed the fabric all in the same batch, and I'm keeping this because I actually really like this colour, so I might use that on another piece. But I've made a start. I've basically done the Headless Horseman,
and I'm really happy with it. I think it just looks really good. There you go. So like I said, this is 32 count. It was just a plain Swigart. I think it was antique white, something along those lines. I got this from the Wool Warehouse here in the UK. They do pre-cuts. Actually very cheap pre-cuts. So I bought 2 of them, and yeah, really happy with that. So I'm just glad I got to start it, because as I said, this was one of the first patterns I ever bought, and I wanted to start it for ages, so happy with that. So let me just find the this does have a lot of threads, however, a lot of threads. But luckily most of them were in my stash already, and I'd just gone for, as I do, I've said this for many of the pieces I do, what I tend to do is pick out some of the key features in there, and if over-dyed flosses are listed, I'll generally buy them, but I won't. I think there's only 1 or 2 pieces where I've bought every single one of the over-dyed flosses that have been requested, and that's basically because I've only asked for, maybe there's only less than 5 or whatever colours in there. But on this I've just got some of the week's dye works there, and the rest are DMC. Just pop them in there. I tell you what though, it can be quite scary. You would never think of it, and you'd never think it would be, but it can be quite scary dyeing your own fabric, especially when you're going all in on it. And you know that I pre-cut my 3 pieces and serged, well, not so much serged, just done a zigzag stitch around the edges so they don't get all frayed. Oh yeah, that would be my tip when dyeing your own fabric, is to do your edges of your piece first of all, because otherwise the second you put it in, so I think, so this, because it was just a scrap piece, so I didn't serge around the edges, but that was nice and neat when I put it in, and by the time it comes out it was even worse than this. This is with a lot of it cut off. So I would always suggest, if you are going to dye fabric, always do your edges first of all before you put them in. I mean, and then it keeps them nice and neat like it has on here. But no, it was fairly nerve-wracking dyeing these, because then even when you finish and you take them out and you think to yourself, well, that's a nice colour, it's often the final colour is often radically different than what you thought it was when you took it out of the dye. So yeah, that's another reason why I think I've chickened out of dyeing that for a long time. But no, I'm glad I did, because I am really happy with that colour. Okay, so the last whip that I have worked on is my Longdog sampler, my favourite whip of all, and one that I'm so close to finishing that I almost just battled through and carried on going, but I'd already worked on it for about 5 days and I was getting a bit of Pilgrim fatigue. I have actually figured out while I'm sorry, bear with me 1 second. I have actually oh, that surprised me. Okay, so I've gone into the deep range of my voice then. Okay, if this is uncomfortable for anyone, I do apologise. I have actually figured out while doing this Longdog that I'm not a monogamous stitcher. I can probably do about maximum 4 or 5 days on something, and then I start getting wanderlust and wanting to Oh my god, I'm wanting to switch on to another pattern. So I did about 5 days on here, and then I was like, no, I need to put it down and move on to something else, and then I'll come back to this in a week. But anyway, sorry, that's Pilgrim. So I worked on primarily this section and a tiny little bit of here this time. So I've already, oh, and here I worked on finishing this off. So I'd already done the horse and I had done this and all of this. So, well, let's just get it out so you can see I'm doing this. Now this is another of these rookie mistakes. If I were to do this again, I would not have chosen a fabric with such a small stitch count. I did it on, it's either 25 or 28 count even weave this, and I would have used maybe a 32 or 36 count if I were to choose this again. But you know, you make these decisions, don't you? And you live and learn. But I do definitely plan on doing another Longdog after this. I think it's her new one, 5 point or something like that. But I'm not going to buy or even think of that until I finish this one and I have worked out how I'm going to finish this one. But if I... There we go. So this is what, obviously, as I said, the horse was already on there, but I've done all the branches and the seahorse and the dolphin that the seahorse is on top of, and then all of this section here. So bring this up a bit closer. So I've done all of that section there. So what I will do is I will insert a picture in here of what it looked like before, and then you can do a comparison there. So I am really happy with that. So there's the bottom of it there. As I said, I've done a tiny little bit at the bottom there. I just started working my way up because I wanted to... I've not yet got to the bottom there, but I think I might do the border next, just put it down the bottom and meet up in the middle. But I think in my last video I said I hope I would finish this by the end of this month. I'm going to amend that slightly and say that I hope that by the end of August I have finished this. Maybe a birthday finish. It's my birthday the 14th of August, so maybe try and finish it for then. But no, you know, obviously with most things with stitching you say, oh, it'll be finished by then, but then you see something new, don't you? A new sparkly thing that you want to do. But like that Sleepy Hollow, I really want to make some progress on that. But no, I'm just absolutely loving this, so it'll be so nice to finish it. And I'm using, sorry I forgot to say, I'm using Mrs. Sadas silk. So this is the Peacock again, the same as I'm using an All Souls Vierlanden, because I bought another rookie mistake. I completely overestimated how much silk I would need and bought 2 of the large hanks of this, and I'm not going to need anywhere near that amount, which in one way is good because I absolutely love the colour, so I can use it on lots of things, and I have used it on other things as well. But yeah, that's my Pilgrim. And if I remember, what I will do is at the end of this video I'll take a picture of it all and stick that in as well, so you can see what that's looking like. Okay, so I think that is all the whips that I've got going at the moment that I've worked on over the past couple of weeks. But I do have 2 finishes, one fully finished and one
oh no, sorry, one fully finished for now. I've kind of put it in a temporary home because I don't want to just pop it in a drawer and forget about it. So the first one is my Lila Studio Halloween Quaker, and I absolutely love it, love it, love it. So hang on, let me get this in. There you go. So as you can probably see, this is where I've used that Mrs. Sadas Peacock as well. But there we have it. At the moment it's in this grey frame, as not perfectly straight, but straight enough. I did this, I think, in the middle of a fever dream, literally. And all I've done is got some mount board, not the sticky back type, and just use some double-sided fabric tape to keep it in place so it'll be easy to take out and reposition. I wasn't going to lace it because I had such a nightmare lacing the Get Cracking one, and this is a slightly bigger than that. I was like, no, I've not got the energy or the wherewithal to do it on another large one, so I just used the double-sided fabric tape and just popped it in here. So I've basically used a lot of the called for colours, but then I just decided to go wild and do my own colour combos. So on a lot of these larger ones, I've used étoile ones. So that's the called for, and then on the pumpkin one at the end here, this for example is étoile. This up here I've used a dinky dye, and it would basically take too long for me to go through every single one where I've changed the colour, but I am just crap at displaying it on here, so I apologise if you're not getting a proper picture of it. Let me see, let me move back a bit. There you go. That's not too bad. Or it's as good as it's going to get, let's just put it that way. But yeah, absolutely love it. So it'll stay in this frame now until I can decide what the hell I'm going to do with it. But no, absolutely love it. I am going to at some point get the accompanying piece for this, which is the Holiday Quaker by Lila Studio. I've not bought it yet, but I am going to get it. And then maybe when that one's done, I'll have them in matching frames, so it might just stay in that grey one for a while yet. But that was the one I was doing my 25/7 on, and it was working really, really well. And what I'm going to do actually is, if I can, if I don't do it, sorry, but I actually took, for the last 30 days that I was doing the 25/7, I took daily pictures on to follow the progress of it. So if I remember and I can figure it out, I'll insert that in here. Well, I'll insert it in a second so you can see the progression of it. But at the end, I had, I think, 1.5. I had the flower and the pumpkin one here to do, and one day I just decided to knock that out and just get it done because I wanted to finish it, because I was dying to finish it. So yeah, so if I can, I will insert that in here. Okay, so my plans, I have 4 pieces that are all kitted up. 2 of them which will be gifts for others, and 2 for me, because I'm selfish that way. My one's for gifts. Let's do this first. I think I've already covered this one, but I've not started this. I'm probably going to start this next month. It's another drawn thread, another designer who I am starting to really love, and it's Those Who Sing. I think it's beautiful, and this is another one for my mum. She did actually, the story of this is I kind of did this to myself. She had chosen this a while ago. I'd said, you know, because of all the help she'd given me over the past couple of months, I'd asked her to choose a cross-stitch piece, and she chose this, but I couldn't really find anywhere in the UK that had this in stock, so I asked her to choose another one, and that was the garden gate. So I did the garden gate one for her, and then this one came back in stock, and my mum said, oh, has that Those Who Sing one come back in anywhere yet? Because I would still like that. Yes, mum. And I got this from the Nimble Thimble. They a shop in Wales, and what they do is they get all the threads and everything order, they kit it up for you, so that's all the MPI, and there's the material that's going to be used, so it's all the suggested material and MPI thread, but you don't have to pay the cost of full skeins for all of these, so very happy with that. So that was the Nimble Thimble. So that's the first of my planned starts in the next month. My next one is my one concession at the moment on Christmas stitching. So as I said, I do plan to get Holiday Quaker from Lila's studio at some point in the next month or so, so that's a Christmas one. Well, the other one I'm doing is this one, which I love, from Prairie Moon, which is Merry Xmas. I'm just waiting for one other thread to come in for this. So this is one of the ones where I've gone for the majority of the called for threads. So classic Colourworks, with the Belle Soir ones. I've got Tulip, which is a lovely colour, Oatmeal, and I am just waiting for one other that I bought to come in, and then I'll start on that. And I'm using, my fabric is Haunted, which is, I think, Picture This Plus. Which is a beautiful one. Now, I could have used this for my Cricket Collection Sleepy Hollow, but Picture This Plus is so expensive, and I wasn't going to do it on 28 count because it'd be too big, and 32 count isn't in stock anywhere, and like I said, it's just so bloody expensive. It's gorgeous, but it was just too expensive, so that's why, another reason why I did my own dye job, so to speak. So that's another planned start there. Now, my next planned start is a gift. This is to my friend and her husband, who have recently been watching Star Trek, going through all the Star Treks on Netflix, something that I did years ago. So I found, and while he was talking about it, hubby just happened to mention that he was going to look for a picture of all the different ships and the different captains, and I was just looking on Etsy, and I found this happy sloth pattern, which is called the Captains. Now I am going to switch order from Archer to here, just switch them round, and then they'll be in the correct one. So that's another planned start, and this is just a straightforward 14 count white Ada,
and it's all DMC colours, so that should be a nice straightforward stitch, so I'm looking forward to do that. Lots of colour blocking on that, so that should hopefully not take too long. And then my other plan starting the next month is another cricket collection. Really, you should have guessed that. This actually is another one that was bought around the same time as Sleepy Hollow and The Master and the Macabre. And again, it was I couldn't find the material I wanted to use. So it's a skeleton crew. And I'm going to use on here oh, have I taken the label off? Oh, this is haunted. Is this haunted? No, this isn't haunted. The other one's haunted. Oh dear. Valor. This is Valor. 28 count Valor. There we go. Another Picture This Plus. I think the suggested on this is the suggested for this is another R&R reproduction, but one of my subscribers said, I've pinched it off Adam entirely. I think it was Adam. He said that he was using Valor, and I looked it up and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to pinch that idea because it's a lovely colour, and I think it'll go. It's incredibly similar to what's suggested anyway, so I'm just got to kit that one up with the threads and then I can get started on that. That one doesn't have a lot of over dyes on that. It's all DMC, so I think I've pretty much got all the colours that are needed on here. I think there's only one thing that I've changed, and that's I've got some NPI white silk. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. I've got some NPI white left over from the garden gate, and I might use that for the skeletons on there. But other than that, it's just DMC. So that's that one. Now I do actually have another finish that I just forgot to show you then. It's my Good Morning Maui, my favourite murder, Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered. Now, I think I showed about either in the last video or the video before that I'd bought myself a cross-stitch journal just to put some of my smalls in that I wasn't going to frame and put up on the wall. So what I decided to do was just put this on the cover of it, and then I just got a picture mount board, decoupaged some red paper on it and just stuck it on there. And then over the years I've kind of every now and then bought some stickers, and recently found an artist called Emma Carpenter who does some lovely stickers. So these stickers that are around the edge are from her. She's got a store on Etsy, which I'll put the details down below, and I've got some My Favourite Murder stickers on there. I've got some more stickers on the back here. I'll find out who I got all of these stickers from, and as I said, I'll just list them down below. But from Emma, I also got these lovely pins. There's one that's on the bag I made, and then the other one, sorry for the crinkling, this is the other. This is Tulip Cat. Let me, there you go.
So these are pins, not needle minders. She doesn't do needle minders, but I was thinking of maybe getting in contact with her to see if she would. But they're absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, I just stuck that on the cover. So what I plan to do is I've got a Good Morning Maui one for Schitt's Creek. I'm going to stick that in here as well, and I've got some really funny Schitt's Creek stickers that I'm going to put in there as well. But I'm really happy with that. I think that looks so cool for the cover on there. Of course, this being me, I forgot to bloody iron it before I stuck it down. But you know, I think that says it all about me. I forgot to iron it. But I'm still happy with it, and I think that looks really cool. And the actual pattern itself, I was really happy with. It's stitched up so quickly. Yeah, love that one. So that's my second finish. Well, that's my proper fully finished one. So very quickly on to some purchases that I've made. Very small purchases really, those stickers and pins. And then I went back to Wool Warehouse and bought some more Fyberspates because I'm wanting to do a scarf. And I saw these two colours and just fell in love. So that's strawberry and that's peacock. So these are again Fyberspates, 4-ply. So yeah, so can't wait to add those into my mix of colours. And I got some buttons from, it's from 123 Stitch, but these are from Create Nostalgia here in the UK. And they're basically little cap buttons for putting on, well, whatever you want to put them on. And there you go, I just thought those were really cute. So I think, let me just check my little list. Yep. I thanked Hannah Dowling, so thank you again. Oh, a rabbit hole was fallen down this week while I was in bed, feeling wonderful with this throat infection. And I'd done all my usual Flosstube stuff, and 'tis the time of year that a lot of people are putting whip parades on, so I was watching them. And then once again, good old YouTube algorithm brought up somebody else. She's called Rachel Maksy, Maksy. She basically does a lot of sewing things. She does a lot of cosplay stuff, makes costumes and lifestyle stuff, and she's into vintage clothing, and she's lovely. She's hilarious, and she's just such a lovely personality. So I started watching her, and Karen Puzzles put on some new ones. So Rachel has been doing YouTube for a couple of years now, and she basically puts up every Friday, so there are a lot of videos on there. So I think I lost 2 days to just purely watching her YouTube stuff. What can I say? It was an enjoyable time. Again, it was done during the middle of a fever, so I don't remember all of it, but I really did enjoy it. I know I also started watching Staircase, so I'll let you know next time I speak to you what my final thoughts were on that, and basically still going through all the Terry Pratchett books on Audible. I do, however, next week plan to portion off a day, if I can, somewhere to watch all of Loki on Disney Plus. I've not been watching it weekly because I want to just do one big long watch of it, so
I know the final for that is on this Wednesday coming, so maybe next weekend I'll do a full, watch all 6-7 episodes of them in one go. But anyway, I don't know how much stitching I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks because things are ramping up at work at the moment, but it's still a very good stress reliever, so my evenings I am still trying to fit in at least an hour or so or more of stitching, and obviously at weekends I'm cramming in as much as I possibly can in between all my normal household tasks and sorting out the cats and yeah. But anyway, I think my voice is actually really hurting, my throat is actually hurting me quite a bit now, so I'm going to go and make myself a nice hot nice hot honey and lemon drink. So I think I will pretty much leave it there. This has been a bit of a chaotic one, and I didn't think my voice was going to last as long as it did. I do apologise that it sounds absolutely awful, but hopefully next time I speak to you it'll be back to normal. But no, if you like what you see, what you've heard, or maybe not so much what you've heard, please do like and subscribe. I hope you're all safe and well and all your family are safe, and that, yeah, it's be hopeful that, in the coming months that we can get back to some kind of normality. Maybe not quite the same normality we had previously, but one that, we can start moving forward again. Fingers crossed. And just continue to stay safe and well and happy stitching, and I'll probably see you in a couple of weeks' time. So thank you very much.